So here we are at the main part of the BRE Innovation Park with Mark Patton.
The Innovation Park here is a demonstration opportunity for a number of different constructions. This is the house that was built with the assistance of the NNFCC, which is the National Non-Food Crop Centre. That's a government body that's part of the Department of Energy and Climate Change, and then this house at BRE was fairly fundamental in persuading a number of housing associations that to use renewable crops along with the grants that the DEC, Department of Energy and Climate Change, was able to provide, so that this method of construction was adopted into mainstream construction on over 100 houses in the UK. This is just a demonstration piece of the build system that the house is built from. You're looking at the internal board that goes on the inside face. It gives the timber frame a racking strength initially and provides the internal shutter during the casting process. So from the outside of the building, shuttering is erected to this face. It is only a lightweight shuttering because the material is much lighter weight than concrete and generates much lower pressures on the shutter. Concrete is fluid and you normally compact it to try and drive the air out of it. With hempcrete you're trying to encourage and keep air in between the particles, and it's got a semi-fluid nature, which means that you could cast it like a sandcastle. If you had a bucket full, you could take the bucket off immediately and it would stand and hold its profile. So it doesn't need much support. And you can see the open texture and nature of the material, and that's showing the trapped air that there is in between the particles. This outside face should be rendered, as you can see on the outside of the house here. That's the normal render protective finish that's provided to a lime hemp construction. In this case, this one was out as a demonstration piece, and it's been outside for the last 2 winters. Certainly the last winter was notably one of the harshest we've had in the last 90 years in the UK, but the material has still maintains and stands up very well. As an insulation product, it's incredibly robust. One advantage that lime hemp does give to a timber frame is that the timber element is bound and not able to buckle. Normally the limit that you would have on the load-bearing capacity of a piece of timber is its length and the fact that it will bow and buckle under that load. When it's cast within hempcrete, it's embedded and prevented from moving, so you can get upwards of 3 and 4 times the load capacity on a smaller size of timber. That's something that's not recognised by the building codes currently in the UK, but a lot of work is afoot to get that structural validation and the improvement in the load-bearing capacity of timber structures working in conjunction with hempcrete. Conventionally, most building materials, their heavyweight structural elements tend to be fired clay, bricks, concrete and concrete blocks, and cement has a particularly high carbon footprint, along with concrete floor planks in a number of elements. So there's a lot of very high embodied energy within the majority of conventional constructions, and this is one of the significant differences with renewable materials is their lower carbon footprint.
We're here at Hemp Technologies, right, with John Hobson. And we've taken a little tour of the hemp processing facility, and we just wanted to ask you a few questions about how this all developed. And it seems like we're looking at trying to duplicate what you're doing here in England, that you really have to do a lot of study and a lot of coordination to get the growing the processing, and the markets really all in line.
You've got to have all three in place. We started life as Hempcore, the company Hempcore, in 1993 to do just that, to learn how to grow the crop, how to process it, and importantly, to find the markets for the products.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started then, we had very limited markets available. We were the second company in Europe to start processing. Since then, there are 4 or 5 other companies, and actually we've joined together and formed the European Industrial Hemp Association, and that was really formed to have a voice in Brussels. And we're currently lobbying in Brussels to have some support for this environmentally friendly industry. It's planted at about this time of the year, last week in April, first week in May, when the soil temperatures are up to 10 degrees plus. Importantly, there's moisture in the seedbed. Hemp needs to hit the ground running, needs to grow, and if it's given those good conditions, it will grow away and soon form a complete canopy of leaf that will blot out any weed competition. Nothing can survive under hemp. But you've got to give it those good conditions to start off with. Consequently, the crop has no need for any herbicides or any weed killers at all, and it grows so fast that it doesn't suffer from any pests or diseases that would really warrant a spray. So in agriculture today, that's quite rare to have a crop that doesn't need any agrochemicals whatsoever. By the end of July, you've got a crop that's grown 8 to 10 feet in height and can go as high as 15 feet. So it's phenomenally fast growth, one of the fastest growing plants in the world. In early August, the crop is cut down. That's if it's been grown for fibre. If it's been grown for seed or for grain yield, then we leave it until mid-September. So for fibre only, it's cut down before the grain matures, so it's cut down in mid-flowering time. The job of the factory here is to separate these two fractions, fibre from the woody inner core. And the woody inner core that we call shiv, it's called, I think you could call it hurd, yeah. Some of the time. Mm-hmm. And that's the wood. It's like a balsa wood type of core, mm-hmm. with a very open cell structure, and that's what makes it so absorbent and so unique. The job of the factory is to separate it into 3 fractions, into the fibre, into the shiv, and the dust is then briquetted. The dust is sent to a local power station for burning with chicken litter. Fibre is baled into bales weighing about 400 pounds, and these are delivered to the European non-woven industry. And the European non-woven industry will form the fibres into a mat. The hemp fibre is formed into a mat. This is a needle punch mat where a loose fleece of fibre goes through a needle punching machine that's thousands of needles firing down through the fibre, and each needle's got a little barb on the end, and on its upward travel it entangles the fibre. So this is an entangled mass of fibre. This mat is then impregnated with a resin to form an interior part for automotive industry or caravans or anything that requires a lightweight structure, mm-hmm. such as this. And this is an interior door panel from a car that is made with hemp fibre and impregnated with a resin. And the main advantage to the automotive industry is lightweight. It's strong material, as we know. We know that hemp is one of the strongest fibres known to man, and but lightweight is the key, but certainly for something like the automotive industry.
name's Dan, I'm from Bristol in the UK. The instrument I play is called the hang. It's actually pronounced hung and made of steel. You see it's hollow on the inside. And the case, this is a hard case. I have a backpack, but you'll see that the case is made of hemp also. And it really does a good job. It's very sturdy.